Alrighty.
Goliath make the beat now, 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 now.
What up, peoples and folks? It's your boy Goliath. You already know what time of day it is. That's right, it is time for Master the Craft. So, we've gone over a couple things in the past episodes. I hope y'all have been doing great and learning more on your own, as well as looking up things that I've talked about to kind of understand better. Definitely have had some questions that have people have reached out to me, and so I've answered them as they've come to me. But if you do have questions, feel free to reach out. I am Goliath MTBK on all social media, so you can definitely check me out on all that. and as well at the website gmtvk.com. Again, we are focusing on fixing everything on the website, so as soon as it gets up and running, we'll definitely let you know that it's ready to go. But still can check out the beats there. You can actually reach out to me there as well, get more info about the masterclass and everything that I've got going on. So you made the beat. We've talked a little bit about time signatures. We've talked a little bit again about music theory and how to make chords and how to come up with melody lines and how to record it in Pro Tools and Logic, and then how to even extend or export it so that you can get it over to the engineer, right? Done all this work, and now it's time to publish your song, try to get it out there, even release it out to, even the crazy artists out there that want to record your music, or maybe even try to put it with TV shows, stuff like that. But you haven't registered your song yet. You're not really protected. There's not a lot that you can do to protect yourself if you're going to put it on the internet, other than registering your song and getting it copywritten. Now, I would hold off on doing any copywriting right off the bat. I find that it's a little bit difficult if you haven't put the artist to the song to then go ahead and change the copyright at a later time. But definitely something that you have to think about as you're trying to put it out. What I would suggest doing is registering your song. So if you've done all the work, you've put in the beat, you've done everything that you've done thus far, and now you have a mixed track that you're ready to sell, how do you register it? What do you got to do? Well, there are performance rights organizations, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. I will show you what I've got going on my computer, which is why we won't get too much into the music making side of things today. But I did have a drive go down, so public service announcement. Definitely make sure you save your information on more than one drive. Have a working drive that you work with and a drive that's kind of put away so that in case something happens. Definitely a very important. What up, Trey? What up, Trey? How you doing? Trey sitting on Instagram along with Miss Chris XO. Definitely follow both of them, doing amazing things. Miss Chris does the streaming of gaming on Twitch and I believe TikTok now. Trey is definitely a musician you guys want to follow, an artist as well as a writer. If you need some songs written, definitely reach out to him as well. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and go to my screen real quick. Those on Instagram, you can already see my screen. You can see it is transferring files, and I'm about an hour away for 118 gigs trying to copy my files over. Definitely been a work in progress today. It's been a long day for me already. But let me get back over here. All right, and there you guys go. That's our YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Nothing much, Trey, man. Just having a good day. Like I said, I'm transferring files right now. I found access to some of my files, so I'm trying to get them moved over. 118 gigs of drum sounds, man. It's a lot of drum sounds. You can never have enough drum sounds if you're trying to be a producer. Get drum sounds. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go over and open up our internet here. So there's a couple different people or performance rights organizations. We're gonna call them pros from now on. But there are a couple different pros that I think you should look up and be a part of. I only suggest two of them now: TuneCore, CD Baby, and there's some others. I believe even SoundCloud now is offering being a performance rights organization for you, which is basically what they do is go after your royalties out there in the world. So what they do is they are friends with all the TV stations, radio stations, etc. And TV stations, radio stations, etc. all report back to them and say, this is how many times a song has been played, on what it's been played on, what movie it's been played on, and what demographics and what areas, cities, etc. And they go and collect royalties based off the music that was in those songs. So whenever you hear a song on, say, WWE, oh, no problem, Miss Chris XO. Be safe driving. Don't try to text and drive. Don't get yourself in trouble. You know you are important. You family, so make sure you take care of yourself. So, anyways, performance rights organizations, they basically go out and find your royalty money. It's basically what they do. Without them, you would have to go find the people that have used your music and make sure that they're being legitimate in the way that they're putting your music out there and collect the royalties from that. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore. So there's only two that I suggest looking into: ASCAP and BMI. They've been in the field the longest. They were part of the original people who started to do rights for the artist and make sure that the rights were by covered for the artist. And they basically are two organizations out there that are really vested in pretty much everything going on in broadcast, film, sync licensing, stuff like that. Again, there are people who are jumping in now. You got your DistroKids, your TuneCore, your CD Baby, and again, I think SoundCloud even has sync licensing collection if you want. But they're new to the game. I've heard some horror stories and for some of them as well. And they're also your distribution company. So you have no way of really checking out if the numbers are legit, especially with everything that they're doing with the Spotify numbers and all that stuff. So you want to make sure that you're covered there. The next place I would tell you to make sure that you're covered is SoundScan, and make sure that you register with them as well. We're going to open up that site today. I got put on it as something I needed to do, so we're going to look at it together and figure out exactly what it takes to get into that. But let's bring up ASCAP and BMI. Legally, I can't tell you to go with either one or any of them for that matter. I can only tell you what my suggestion is and why I suggest that way. It is up to you to decide. I can tell you that looking at ASCAP and BMI's roster, BMI is more current pop music and current, hip hop, country. When I say pop music, I'm really just saying the popular music that's out there. Whereas to ASCAP is really more about the composers, more people who score for film, who are literally writing orchestra pieces and stuff like that. So you'll notice that they do both have popular artists on their roster. They do have, top 40 artists on their roster, but ASCAP is definitely more focused towards the orchestra side of things, whereas to BMI, I feel, has more of the hip artists who are trying to be popular, top 40 artists, if you will. But you'll see that here as we go to their site. So ASCAP is ASCAP.com. Can't make this up. It's pretty easy. And boom, here you go. So they stand for, you always got to accept cookies. I don't understand why. It's not like this is a new thing. We've had cookies forever. Every site you go to has cookies. But here's ASCAP. As you can see, we can see some of the people that they're working with. Don't look at me to name these people because I'll be honest with you, I don't really look at artists like that. But you definitely have a lot of different things going on here. And you can go into and kind of research who they are and what they do, but they are a performance right organization that will go ahead and set you up. So you can either be a music creator or music user. If you click on music creator because you're a producer, songwriter, whatever the case may be, it's going to give you a couple different options here. So you can join for free as a writer and composer. So that's what I would look at as a writer. Now, as a publisher, I believe they probably have more. Let's see. Publishing, you usually got to pay for that one. I know you got to pay for it in BMI. I think it's about $300. But for ASCAP, because I'm not part of ASCAP, I don't really know what their process is. Let's see what join for free is. I can't join because you can only join. Aha, here we go. Publisher is a $50 non-refundable. Writer and publisher is free. Writer, and then for some reason, if you're just doing a publisher, you're $50 in. But you can pick which one you would like to do. If you're a writer also stands for composer. If you make the music, it's not just writing lyrics, but it's actually composing the music as well. So definitely something to look into. And go ahead, and it tells you exactly what information you're going to need. And then you go to there and press continue, and it'll go through royalties, required documents, etc. Pretty easy sign up. Again, publishing is only going to cost you $50. For some reason, if you're writing and publishing, it's probably just going to make you a writer. And we'll get into publishing rights versus writer rights a little bit more down in this one. But this is just a basic setup of how you would sign up and go through. So you would pick writer if all you're going to do is that. I suggest creating a writer and then a separate publishing. And the reason for that is that the publishing side of things, you want to make sure that you're tapping into that money. That's where the real money comes into. The writer share, although you created the song, is very little in comparison to the publishing side of the money. And I don't really know what the reasoning behind that is. I just know that they take advantage of the writers for some reason. But there you go, and that's why we get a lot of writer strikes, I think. All right, so let's go look at BMI, and I can give you a little bit more information on BMI because I am part of BMI. This is who I went with. I felt their roster represented more of the music that I like to do, so this is why I went with them. But as you can see, you can look through here, all the different things. And as you can see, I mean, they have the theater and stuff like that, but it's just not as much as ASCAP promotes that as well. So you look at all this and you can see kind of what they're doing currently in the business. You can see how they value you as an artist. And there are certain things you get, certain perks out of being a BMI member. And we'll look into those a little bit as well. But if you're going to create, here's where you are. If you create music, obviously you would click creator. If you're a person who's looking to use music, or say you're going to do a podcast or you're going to do a radio station, then you would go to music users. But for our purposes, we'd go to creator. And that's going to go ahead and get us signed up here, and it's going to give you the walkthrough on how to get it all. It'll give you all the information that you probably have questions about. How do you copyright it, or a collection of your songs and all that. They are not a copyright office. I will tell you that when you register a song, you are not copyrighting your song. You are registering it so that it can be used in film. You can go to the Library of Congress and obtain a copyright if you want. That's not necessarily as much needed as it was back when recording was more of a analog on tape and you were selling records and tapes and stuff like that. Today in the digital field, there's a lot of ways to prove that you were the originator of a song. Before then, and again, I said ASCAP and BMI have been in the game a long time. They were back there in the 60s and, back in the 50s where the rights of the artist and rights of the people making the song were being established. And that's why I suggest going with them. They've been in the game the longest. They have the most experience in going after your money. And that's what they're all about. They're all about going after your money. All right, so there's a bunch of information about the upcoming royalty dates. We've got one coming up here on August 16th, which I love BMI days because when that money hit the checking account, it's a great day. Especially when I didn't have to do nothing for it. It just shows up. It's like, yay. All right, so let's go ahead and just manage my account. BMI. All right, hopefully it'll come up. Come on. I agree to terms and services. Continue. All right, username, password. It's been a while since I've signed on, so let's see if it's all correct. Yay, it worked. All right. So in the far right here, or far left, my bad, you can start to get your information in your catalog, understand your IPI numbers and stuff like that. I will tell you this, that if you don't have this ready already and you're sitting at a table, you will get passed up. So if you're sitting at a table to license your music in any way, shape, or form, and you don't have these numbers, one, you're not going to get paid, okay? That's one. If they choose to play your song on the radio or wherever and you don't have these numbers and they didn't ask for these numbers, you're probably most likely not going to get paid. These numbers are what track your song. So IPI numbers are what track you, and then as you go into the actual songs, we'll see another number, and we'll talk about that. I think it's an IPI number as well. But you'll get a catalog number as well as a number that they use for their set list or whatever the case may be. So every time your song is played in the club, it should be sent to BMI or ASCAP and registered as a performance of your song, and you should get paid. Every time your song is played on the radio, you should get paid. If you license it to a commercial, every time that commercial runs, you should get paid for every demographic, for every city, state, country, whatever the case may be. And this is how it's done. So we'll go into my works catalog to kind of get an idea of what the numbers are. So you can see it has a BMI work number, and you'll see definitely some duplicate things here. So I've got one that's 5150, which was the original registration that we did for the artist. It had just me and the artist on there. So I can open up this registry. You can see that Adriana I can't even say her last name. Not even gonna try. But I worked with this artist, and she had 100% of the shares, and then I had 100% of the shares. At this time, we did not have a publishing company, which is why we're up to 200%. So let's discuss this. There is two sides of a song. There is the publishing side of a song, and there's the writer's share of the song. Okay, the writer's shares will equal up to 100%. So if you have so many different writers, those are the people that are going to be part of that 100%. You got your producer in there, that's the composer, the person who wrote the lyrics. Sometimes the person that performed the lyrics is a different person, so they're getting a cut. You may have given a cut to your marketing guy or some person that just laid the guitar in. There could be a number of different writers that are on the song, and they're all taking a piece of the writer's portion. So one piece of the 100% of the writer's portion, right? Then on the other side, we've got the publishing. Publishing has nothing to do with the writing share. It is completely its own pie. So there's 100% of the publishing side, and this is where the sync licensing money goes into, and this is where the big money is. So the people who go out there and get it synced to film, that get it put with on the radio, that go, and this is usually going to the publishing company or the record label that the artist is signed to. 95% of the time when you're a new producer, you're going to sign over your publishing rights to gain traction within the company for your first couple of songs. First couple of placements, I did the same thing. I didn't do a co-publishing contract. I did a simple, let me give you the publishing rights, let me get the credit on the writer share. And those checks were very small, pennies to the dollar. And I started to learn that maybe I want to get a piece of my publishing. That is the other part of this pie that you really want to focus on getting. And so you must create a publishing company to get that part and to be part of those co-publishing deals. The thought process is when you have all this put together, it makes for a smoother transition, and everybody who's involved in the song will get paid without anybody having to do the work. So Joe Schmo comes in, gives us an idea. We say, hey, we're going to give you some parts of the song. And all we did was sign a contract, but we never put him on the publishing side or registered him into what we're seeing here. So say I didn't put the artist on there and I just kept 200% to myself. Now I'm responsible to now break that out and pay the artist every time I get a check for the song. Rather than do that, it's much easier to do your split sheets and then register the song with those numbers put in the registry, like I did here. So then we go down and we see a clean and an instrumental of EML with an EML attached to it. What this was is when we got our publishing company, when we signed it over. Now EML had two different publishing companies, which I don't know how he did that, but legally he was doing it correctly. Because I asked about it, I was like, you can't be part of ASCAP and BMI. You got to choose one. At the time, that's the way it was, and it is that way now. So if you're in performance rights organization with anybody else, you cannot have a second one in the books, okay? But he had two different publishing companies. One was called Biomechanical Music, and the other one was called Jukebox Johnny. Now, both of these are just managing companies. His actual, Epitome, I believe it's Epitome Music Library, is the actual name of his actual face of his publishing company, or both of these publishing companies. So, yeah, Biomechanical Music and Jukebox Johnny. And they're taking 100% of my publishing and giving me and Adriana the writer's share of the royalties. And again, this is a lot smaller than this. So you want to make sure that your name is ending up here in the publisher side of things. To do that, get a publishing company started, and you're good to go. So it keeps going down. If you keep going down, you can see I've been through a lot of reviews lately, and they've all been reconciled, which is amazing. Just means that my rights are correct, and I had to show things to prove that I own part of these shares. So, and you can see as we go down, we've got all these different people that I've worked with that have given me percentages and certain things of that nature. Now, what are the important numbers here? We have an ISWC number, we have a BMI work number, you have the date registered, and the work title. So the most important number in all of this is this ISWC number. The ISWC number will track, and this is the number that they put down on what songs are in a movie, what songs are in a TV show, what songs are on a commercial. When a broadcast channel is using commercials, they have to write down this number, and this number is the number that they use to track who gets what royalties for what song. This is a very important number for every song. It takes about a month and a half to get this. So once you register a song, it's going to take that time for you to get that number. Same thing with the IPI number. Let me go back. IPI numbers. These are my IPI numbers. Go ahead, steal them, take them, do whatever you want with them. Just means I'm going to get more rights later on if you choose to do that. But here's your IPI number. This right here is the important number for you to have. You can use either one. I usually use my Goliath one. That way the credits on the song will say Goliath. But the IPI number is very important, and you should always have that number ready to go. And then the next thing, again, is that ISWC number. And you can see the ISWC number on each song is going to be different. So, watch them all be the same. Yeah, they're not. Okay, so in each registry of this same song, I have a different ISWC number because the person publishing it may be different. So this always works, again, when you have multiple publishers that you're working with. So I submit one song to multiple people, and they all register it with their own ISWC number attached to it, so that whenever it gets published or synced or put in control of another place, then that's where they know where the royalties go. Hopefully you're still with me. If you're not, you definitely have questions. Again, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to answer your questions and be able to give you more insight on how this all works. So, all right, we've done all that. So how do we register a song? I mean, what do we got to do? I don't get it. One, you got to create an account. Go out there and create your account. After that, BMI, I can go to catalog management. Register new works. ASCAP will have something similar, and it will allow you to register a new song. And so we're waiting for this to come up. Boom, boom, boom. What I would do is I would come in here. We can delete this one because I'm not currently doing any. All right, so we're going to say add new work. It's already going to have my information, the type of song you're doing, all other genres, whether you're classical or you're all other genres. So rock, pop, all that stuff. This is definitely classical is for people who are scoring songs or doing orchestra work. This is where you go. All other genres are usually what people are going to pick, and then I make sure I pick who is registering the song. Boom, and then I would type in the name of it. So test name. Now, I am not pressing shift or holding caps locks. It is going to use the name in the top, or all in caps, okay? Do not put featuring any of that kind of stuff in there. You want to keep it clean and simple as to what the name of the song is. All right. Now you can go ahead and tell it how long of a song it is, and you are able to go up to 150 minutes, right? In 0 seconds, 150 and 59 is the longest you can go, right? So it doesn't really matter how long your song is, but you should know. Usually songs now are around 2.5 to 3 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and just do that. What is the work content? So this isn't what you did. This is what is the work. So if you're just submitting a beat right now, you would go ahead music only. If the beat has an artist on it, then you would pick music and lyrics. For right now, we're going to say music and lyrics just so you can do that. Now, if for some reason it's in a different language, feel free to pick the language. And then if there's another title, say you have this is test name, but you've also been calling it Schedule 2 or something, then you could add an alternate title. Go ahead and click on next. It's going to go through and ask you a bunch of questions. So the first one is, if your work is public domain arrangement or foreign lyric version, please select yes below. If your work is a new original work, please select no. So public domain arrangement is a song that is in public domain. What does that mean? Public domain. It means that a song that is not currently held by a current rights owner. So let's use Michael Jackson's music, okay? Somebody owns the rights to Michael Jackson's music. At some point, those rights are going to go into public domain. And when they do, anyone can use those songs free of charge because it's in public domain. And that's basically a way of saying that anybody is free to use this. There's no rights holder on this song, and it is able to be sampled without paying nobody. It is able to be reworked, revamped, resung, whatever. And like songs like, say, let's see, Jingle Bells, or holiday type songs, those are going to be most likely in public domain, and that's why so many artists were able to cover them and do renditions of their own versions of those songs. So basically, without having to pay a copyright or a licensing fee to anybody, you can use those songs that are in public domain. 99.9999% of the time, you are going to be registering a new original work. You're not going to be doing a version of someone else's song. You can go ahead and click no. You got to make sure you read these. They change these, so make sure you read them. I'm telling you what's good today. Make sure you read them. All right, so the next one is, does this work contain samples or medleys? All right, this is a big question. Most works do not contain samples, they say. This is not true today. I believe that today most works do contain samples. If I listen to music, I can usually point to a song that it was used for or used from. So a lot of producers today think sampling is okay, but this is where they get in trouble. We do not choose to sample. If you played everything yourself, played the keys, played the drum pattern. Now, we'll get into that too. But played the keys, played the bass, played the sax, played the whatever's on the song, then you're going to say no, it does not contain samples. If you use somebody else's recording, or used a loop, or used a splice loop, or used certain arcade pieces, those are considered samples, okay? May not be registered as a sample on the song that registers it, and they're eventually going to have to change it, but those are considered samples. Anytime you're using something that has been pre-recorded and not recorded by you playing it, it is a sample. Here's the exclusion to the rule. The exclusion to the rule is drums, okay? Drums have been, for some reason, set apart as something that cannot be copywritten and something that cannot be considered a sample. So I can use all the drums I want. I can go steal somebody's kick, somebody's snare, even somebody's kick, snare, hi-hat pattern I can take and use in my song. I'm not going to get sued for copyright, not going to get sued for sample clearance or get questioned about sample clearance because it's a drum sound. And for some reason, they are not allowing drums to be used as, or being called samples or fall under the copyright law. Everything when you're dealing with copyright law is really about the melodic parts of the song. Again, drums for some reason have been excluded from the copyright thing. Now that's true today, may not be true tomorrow. Always make sure you're checking the updated stuff, but as of today, drums cannot be considered samples and cannot be held as copyrighted material. And again, it says most works. If you're using samples, just click yes on this, and then that'll cover you. That way, those people get paid, right? So for right now, we're going to say no, because I don't like the sample. I've got a guitar, I've got a bass, I've got the drums, I've got the keys, I've got different instruments that have been recorded so that I can play them, guitars and stuff like that. So definitely a good thing to have. Are there any publishers on this work? If you have a publishing company, this is where you would say yes and you would add them as your company. If they're not, you would say no. And this is where you got to equal up to 200%. So we're going to say no for right now. I'm just trying to get through all this. All right, so pick a rider. So who do I have? We're going to start off with just me. And again, like I said, I like to use my Goliath one. And you can see how many people I've worked with. I've got a lot of people I've worked with. Where's Goliath though? I guess it doesn't have my Goliath one on here. Huh. Alright, we're going to go back to... Oh, there it is. Boom. So you can see this little helpful tip up here. Like I said, it's going to equal up to 200%, but it says help tip for works without publishers. Total rider shares must equal 200%. So technically I could sync this song without a publisher and it's going to pay me the publisher side of things. 95% the people that I'm going to talk to are not going to take it without a publisher. So you're going to have publishers attached to it. If at first you don't, it's okay. They can always re-register. As you saw, I had several registries of a song, not just the main one. But I always register the song before I send it off to a publisher. And then we'll go ahead and it's going to ask you for your role. I was the composer. That's how a beat maker, producer is. They are the composer of the song. They have composed the music so that someone can sing over the top of it. If you are also the artist who wrote the song, then you would choose author and composer. If you're just the writer, then you're going to put author. And most of the time, I put the artist as the author as well. So if the person singing or performing the song, that is going to be their role as well as an author, okay? They are authoring the melody or the performance of the song. A composer is the music side. Author is anything that has to do with the lyric side. That's the quickest way to kind of put that in there. And then it's going to ask you for your share. For right now, we're just going to put 100%. And then I would say I need to add another rider. For some reason, say I was come here. Boom. I'm going to select... No one's going to get named here. I'm trying to find... Let's just do Jasmine. Alright, so there's Jasmine. She's an artist I worked with. Now going under the name of... Oh, she was Voodoo. Antares. However you say that. She is a great artist and definitely has her thing. So she would be considered the author. Again, I'd go 100%. And we'd click next. If there were more writers, then we'd add more writers. If there's publishers, then we'd add publishers. There's no publishers, so we're going to go ahead and get out of that. Boom. And then we'd click next. Are there any artists? The answer would be yes. I said there was an artist, so we're going to put the artist name in there for it. Are there any recordings? No. So recordings are basically saying that you've used the other people's stuff. So, oh no, actually this is a yes now. This is a new one. So normally that's what that would mean. But if I have recorded the song prior to submitting the paperwork, then we would say yes, there are recordings. Was this work created for film, TV, theater, or a music library? If you've specifically made this for a TV show, etc., then you would click yes. If you made this to send to iTunes, Apple, Spotify, etc., then you would click no, and this is going to go towards basic release. So we'll say no because usually anytime I work with her, it's going to be a no. And then we add her name, which again was I'm messing it up. It doesn't really matter because I'm not going to save it. Okay. Antares, we're not going to worry about the first name, and we'd click next. Type of format, whether it's an album, EP, or single, we're going to go single. The name of the title, the release date. And we'll say it was, boom. Was this recording released by a record label? If you're signed, then you would click yes. If you're not signed, you're an independent artist, and you would click no. And you'd go next. All right, so we've gone all to this recording use. You've indicated it's not created for film, so we're gonna go ahead and click next. All right, and then it's gonna give you basically all your information. You're gonna make sure that everything is good here. If there's anything you need to add additionally, you would go ahead there. You would click check this box that the best of the knowledge you are submitting. This is something that is very important. For some reason, if it comes back that you lied, then they're gonna put a strike against you, and that's something that you don't want to happen. Um, Trust me, you don't want it to happen. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna save and exit because again, and we can resume this letter. I don't want to submit a new work. Obviously, this is not a real song, so we're gonna go ahead and delete it and get it out of there. And that is how you register a song. Takes a couple minutes. It's a lot faster when I'm not having to explain everything, but that's pretty much all you got to do. And then you can go ahead and you would be able to go back to your online services. Go back to online services, and that song would show up in your works catalog. And again, you'd be able to go through and say, okay, what's going on? How is it looking? Etc. Etc. And I would go through royalty statements and stuff, but that has a lot of information that I can't hide right off the bat. But you would definitely go ahead and look there. I wonder if I can look at dashboard. Let me go ahead and pull this off real quick and check. Like I said, they're always doing new stuff, so I just want to see what the dashboard is. Make sure it doesn't give off anything that you could steal and use against me somewhere. Very interesting. Yeah, we're not going to show that. I'm going to leave that out of it. Yeah. All right, so we talked about your IPI number. We talked about the ISWC number. We talked about the numbers that are important to getting your royalties from the song you just created. Once you publish a song, once you send it out, this is one of the first steps, I think, even before you send it out, that you should do. Have a registry of the song, have it ready to go. That way, when they're asking you for numbers, you already have them. These numbers take time to generate for you. They take time for BMI and ASCAP. You got to imagine how many people are actually, well, not as many people as should be, are registering their songs. But there's still a lot of artists out there that are registering songs on a daily basis. So it takes a little bit of time for these numbers to be generated. The worst thing is to be sitting at a table, them ready to ask you for your song to put behind the next hit film, and you don't have it registered, and there's no way of them paying you, and so they move on to the next artist. That's not what you want to happen. What you want is to have these numbers ready to go, have your IPI number. When you're sitting at the table, have these numbers in front of you, ready to go. That way you can go ahead and get the deal over with, and they're happy, and they want to work with you. There's a very close-knit group of people. Once you mess up, it's very hard to climb back up from that mess up. Once you miss a certain deadline or do anything like that, they don't want to work with you anymore because they want people who can meet their deadlines. Music is essential to a lot of film, but film works in such a different way and has a very set structure so that they can get paid in a certain way. So you don't want to be the reason that things are being held up. And if you are the reason things are being held up, you will definitely be looked upon in the industry that way. Again, this industry is very close-knit. A lot of the music supervisors know each other. The people who are in this business have been in this business for a long time. And so your name, if it becomes synonymous with being held up, guess what? They're not going to work with you, no matter how good the music is. They can always find somebody else to do it. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that sync is going to be going away. I don't really believe so. I believe the AI companies are going to get hit pretty hard for using other artists, artists likenesses and their voices and their type of style and the way they mix, and all that stuff had to be trained to the AI. So the AI used this stuff that without permission. I think they're gonna get in trouble for that. I don't know, but it is in the works. I know there a lot of people are getting sued for using Drake's voice or using Beyonce's voice or etc. They're gonna get around it. They're gonna eventually license it. People are gonna get paid a lot of money to get licensed, and then that's gonna be the situation. But for now, I believe Sync is still a good place for you to be making money with your music, as you're building your fan base, as you're building your clientele, as you're building artists that are coming to you on a regular basis. Especially as a producer, you can make a song, put it out there, and get it published a lot quicker than you think. Now, if you don't know any people to reach out to for that, I suggest always watching the videos and the credits of the TV shows you like. Find out who the music supervisor is. Spam their email as quickly as possible. Do not send them songs, okay? Send them a nice letter with links to the songs, but do not send them MP3s or anything else. They will delete that right away because of rights usage. In other words, if they open your email and they play your song and they download your MP3, now they could be held liable for copyright infringement if one of the songs they do use sounds like yours but wasn't yours. Now they're in trouble because they had your song prior to. So they do not open unsolicited music. They do not open emails with attachments, etc. You can add links to your songs so that they can go and listen to your beats. They can listen to you where you're at, and they can reach out to you. But create a nice draft letter. If you need to use AI, I suggest using AI to build those letters, but fine tune it. Do your research. Find out what they like. Find out who they are, and that way you can go ahead and address each one specifically. If that sounds like too much work, there are some places that I would love to send you. One of them is called BroadJam. I don't suggest using it per se once you get into business, but say you're having trouble with music supervisors reaching out to you, this is a great place. So let me go ahead and bring this up, broadjam.com. I actually got my first placement through this website. So with this website, you can see, let me log in. I wonder if I still, yep. Hey, look at that. I still got to sign up for it. Wonderful. All right, so we're going to close this window. So right now you can see I've made no money off this site because I didn't use it for selling my songs, and I did not use it for any of the things that it was giving me access to. The only thing I wanted this song was to find out what music supervisors were listening to or looking for. So I would go up here to, I want to say it's Marketplace. They have changed this website. This is how long I've not been here, okay? Maybe Submit Music. Here we go. Submit Music. So we got Contest Pro, Premium Pitches, Music Licensing. There we are. Wow, it is gone forever. All right, so then you get all this fun stuff here. And I have entered some of these, and again, my first placement came from going for one of these. So I would look through and I would see what the music supervisors are looking for. We've got an ongoing search for Afro beats like Tyla and Burna Boy. So this is something that is going to go and end on August 4th, 2024. You could book it, and they give you a little idea of what they're looking for here on this Vivo. Let me see if I can go into it and get a little bit more information. All right, so we have an ongoing need for Afrobeat songs and instrumentals in the style of Tyla and Burna Boy. Afrobeat fuses traditional African music so they're basically telling you what they need. And Tyla blends pop, R&B, and South African amapiano music, a variation of house music using synthesizers, and basically gives you a briefing of what they're looking for. And again, they've given you 2 samples of songs that they're looking at and would like to stay within. And you can go through and kind of see which songs you would like to submit. These are all the songs that I have on my BroadJam profile, so I can submit songs directly to them. But the project details, sound qualities accepted, broadcast quality, so making sure you understand what broadcast quality is. You're at a 48 kilohertz to 24-bit. Is usually what they accept, and depending on the genre, you're usually looking at probably negative 14 lufs and below. So negative 15, negative 16. I wouldn't go below negative 17 on your lufs because it's for film. Yeah, so it does look like it is going to be for film. I would assume because it's broadcast only, it's for film, but they don't really say on this one. The deal type is going to be non-exclusive. That means you can submit your songs to other places. Make sure you're paying attention to that. And a publisher is currently the one doing this. So you're probably going to end up having to sign your publishing rights over if you're not a known producer. Or if you don't have a track record of landing placements. And a lot of these are going to be like that. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is why I don't use the site anymore, is because most of the opportunities on here are going to make you sign away your publishing rights. Again, my personal belief is that you need a piece of that publishing to make any money in the industry at all. So again, we've got this one. We can, bookmark them as we want, or we can just go on to the next one. They want 1970s songs and instrumentals. So if you make songs that sound like they're in the 1970s and everyone's saying you sound dated, guess what? They're looking for your type of music. All talented composers for music projects. They've got a whole bunch of things here. They're looking for skilled composers to craft original music for diverse projects. So this could be anything. This could be a stupid song that is like Baby Shark. Okay, the highest grossing, I believe, song in the world today, Baby Shark, has made millions and millions of dollars. I believe it was up to a couple million a day, because it was such a licensable song. I'm looking for the next Kid hit, because if I can make the next Kid hit, my family's set for life. So that's basically what we're looking at here. Western themed soundtracks. We've got composers for pop rock tracks. We've got songs for fight sequence, so it'll go over here. You can look it up and see what their fight sequence is about. I wonder if they even give you. So you can see here in the red it says this example contains vocals, but please submit only similar sounding instrumentals to this opportunity. So it's only taking instrumentals. It's in the film category. They're looking for tracks that evoke feelings of chaos, tension, and struggle to be used in a fistfight scene. So they don't really give you the scene, but hey, there it is. If song is placed, both myself and my manager will be in touch to guide you through every part of the process, from contracts to music and music delivery. So this is a music supervisor looking for music, guys. This is not a publisher. You will not have to hand over your publishing rights, and you'll probably get an upfront check with this one. They're taking all. They will take demos. But you should send broadcast quality. Even when it says they will take a demo, send broadcast quality. You want your work to be finished. So you don't want them to feel iffy about any of it. Okay. Instrumentals, yes, instrumentals only. This again is a non-exclusive deal, which would always be with a music supervisor. They're not going to make you sign exclusively, but publishers will sometimes. So, and they're going to be making a decision 9/9/2024. I might actually submit to this at this point, but we're going to, let's see, I've got 30 days left. I don't know. I probably won't, but that one I didn't know that they did music supervisors. They've been mostly publishers in this site. So again, I haven't been to the site in forever, but hey, as you can see, it's all there. And you can continue to look through this. They've got tons and tons and tons and tons and tons. I mean, this list goes on forever. Even if you just want to get an idea of what kind of music is being looked for, you can go through here and see that there is all kinds of music being looked for, and that you just really need to make music and make enough music to fit in the industry. So yeah. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Goliath MTBK on all social media. GMTBK.com as the website. As I'm continuing to finish, that will be the main hub that I want you to go to. I am trying to grow my my TikTok. So feel free to go follow me on TikTok as I start to get more followers there. I think I'm going to do a contest for the 500th follower and set them up with something special. So we're going to get there. I know we will. I thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to go follow the Master of the Craft Facebook page as well as the Instagram. And we will see you next week. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Later.